because when you take it personally and you hold on to the thing, right? Or you're hurt by something somebody says, it's not to say that that hurt isn't genuine or that feeling isn't, valid, but it is to say you don't have to carry it. You know, you can feel it, you can be pissed, you can be hurt, but you can also recognize, like, okay, that's cool, and make it not, it's not about me. I'm not a bad person because this thing hurt me. Hey, y'all, and welcome to Let's Talk Sis. I'm Shekinah, your host, and as we spend time together, I can promise you three things. I'll be honest, I'll make you laugh, and I won't hold back. Let's Talk Sis is your essential girl talk destination where you'll hear about life from the perspective of a Black woman in America, as our stories often go untold. I can assure you, while honest, we are a community for growth and love. Remember to like, subscribe, and share the podcast. Now sit back, relax, and let's talk, sis. Hello, 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 beautiful people, and welcome back to Let's Talk Sis, a safe space for Black women to express themselves and tell their stories authentically and unapologetically. My name is Shekinah, your host, and this is definitely one of my favorite places to be, and I'm so glad that you decided to join me. I am so honored, as I say every time, that I get to be on this mic, and I am working diligently on more ways to be responsible and getting in front of the camera and getting behind the mic. I think I definitely jumped into this podcasting venture selfishly, and that's okay sometimes, right? I needed an outlet. I needed a way to like express myself, and it really honestly cracked open that gate of being a creative for me. So I am so appreciative of that space and that unctioning to start a podcast, because it literally kind of just came to me. And now I know it's God, right? But now that I am still in this thing almost 4 years later, I am super, super, super focused on being intentional and responsible with my platforms. I want to make sure I'm elevating the experience every single time that you tune in, every single time that I come back or I take a break and I'm back. If there wasn't an episode last week, I was working on something, okay? I'm not just sitting on my hands. So I'm just, again, like I said, I'm just grateful to be here and to be able to, let y'all know what it is. So, with that being said, last week I decided to, well, before I get into that, if you guys are just now hearing this episode for the first time, that means that you did not join me on YouTube Live, and I love you still, but I want to encourage you to join me Fridays at 2 o'clock on YouTube. We have a little dance party before, and then we get into the episode, and it really just allows you, hey KJ, it really just allows you to be a part of the conversation, get shout outs, give your opinion, help fuel me, keep me excited, let me know I'm talking to somebody, somebody's listening. But more importantly, it's a space where you can find community, right? There's only a select few people that's going to log on to that YouTube live and engage and comment. And more than likely, those people are just like you. So when you're looking for people, I can attest firsthand that a lot of times I'm looking for community immediately within my circle, but this world is so big, and we are so blessed to live in a time where we can meet people virtually, and we can engage with people who are nowhere near us, but are often closely related to us in that their experiences, their stories, their preferences are like ours. So Let's Talk Sis Live is a place where you can come and find those people, and I want you to find us, engage with us so we can continue to grow this platform. Okay. Okay. So, also, speaking of growing this platform and growing this production and, just being a little better. I have been slipping on my pimping, right? Because I forgot where I came from, apparently. I don't know. Let's Talk Sis started as a purely audio podcast. We were only on the audio platforms, and I got brand new this year and decided to become a video podcast as well. And in doing that, I really have abandoned my audio listeners, and I am so sorry. Somehow the podcast episodes have not been getting uploaded onto my audio distribution platforms. So platforms like Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify, et cetera, had not gotten like the past like maybe 2 months episode. But sorry, okay, I will do better. But it's because a lot of things, and y'all don't really care about the excuses, right? So I'm not going to give them to you, but no, I have figured out the solution, okay? So I have about 10 episodes in the can that I'm going to just drop every day for the next 10 days. You're just going to get a lot of Let's Talk Sis. And I think personally, this could be helpful because it's like, maybe you could take this chance to like switch out your closets from like summer clothes to winter clothes, and now you have entertainment, for the next 10 days. You could do small tasks while you're listening for the next 10 days. Give yourself a 10-day challenge, okay? And now you have entertainment for the next 10 days. Or like they said, the people love a good binge, so now you get to get all in the tea, all in the business, and there are some really good guests in these 10 episodes. I have guests that talk about marriage and relationships. I have guests that are talking about prayer and worship. I have guests that there's a 3-part series with my girl Kimberlyn in there, uh where we are talking about just discovering all of you later in age, neurodivergence, discovering your habits, your how your brain works. That's why it's 3-part series, because there's just so much. It's so much goodness. So, it's not just your everyday run of the mill episodes. These are top quality. Okay. So I encourage you, if you need some good entertainment, go on down to the podcast places and listen to the episodes. You have it coming, a new one every day. Set on your notifications so you'll know when they drop. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Next, I'm looking at my my little docket, my little list. Okay, I got it out my head. So like I said at the top, I normally come into, oh, I actually didn't say this to you, I said this in my live, the people who aren't, get to see me before. So let me say this on the episode. In the effort of being more responsible with my platform, I normally come on mic and I have like a topic I want to talk about, but I don't detail or specify the points that I want to make necessarily. Okay. So I just be giving you what God be giving me, right? Because it just comes out. And as I said at the top of the show, in a season that was okay, but now we're elevating this thing, right? This is not just a podcast, it is soon to be a production. Okay. And I got to do the thing. So that means I need a run of the show. I need some sort of structure. I need some sort of prompting. Okay. To allow me to show up as talent, if you will, and not talent production prompter all in one, right? And that does a disservice to my audience, because now I'm not really giving you the full quality. I'm not really giving you all the things that I had intended to have gave. And then I'd be like, dang, I should have said that, or dang, I forgot to remind them, or this, or I didn't even promote that. So we're back and we're better. Okay, so I have a docket. I've got some notes. I've got some bullet points. I've got some things I'm going to make sure that I cover. Okay, I don't know why I got I got a lot of different accents that just be coming out of me. But maybe it's just I have all these different sides. Okay. Let's before I get into the next thing, let's read some of these comments. Okay, I see. Okay, docket. Yes, clock it for the docket. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Woo child, just being a show up, just being able to show up as talent is a new level of freedom. Yes. And it's part of that three-part series that I was talking to you about. My girl Kimberly said her therapist told her to make the accommodations. And that's what we've been doing all season. We are making the accommodations. Okay. We're thinking about this is something I need to do. This is a task I need to get done. But these are the things that are hurdling or hindering me from doing it or doing it in joy or in love or in peace. So what accommodation do I need to make in this process so I can be better or show up in a higher or elevated stance? So in the point of this podcast, I'll be trying to like, dang, what I'm gonna say, what I'm gonna talk about. Well, girl, write it down. Write it down. Write down what you're gonna talk about. Write down what you're gonna say. Take a moment, take the day before, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, just to give yourself a creative flow. What's on your heart? What's on your mind? What's on your spirit? Take some notes. Put it on the Google Doc, honey. Get it out your head. Flesh it out. Make it make sense. Make some points. Now, when I get on this mic, I'm with you. I'm here. I'm present. Okay. I am engaged. I'm locked in. So I love this for me. I love this for us. This community is just, forever growing. So, my next point, speaking of community, is that I think I told y'all this before, but if I haven't, I am building a universe. Okay. I and four other phenomenal Black women are building a universe. And I wanted to talk about this because while there are some details that we still working on, I just wanted to say that people are out there. Okay. People are out there, and you have to be bold enough to say the things, right? Share, be vulnerable to share some ideas. Say, to your people, hey, I've been thinking I want to start this thing. What do you think? And you might be surprised with who else is like, I've been thinking about starting that thing too, right? And so now we have this cosmic collision, as we said in our girls' night, of minds and ideas that one is supporting the other and alley ooping the other. And then, I take this idea and put this little spin on it, and now it's even better. And I just want to let people know, people like myself who are lone wolves, who are very much okay, right? We say we're okay doing things by ourselves because we have a specific experience we're looking for, which is one that is authentic, which is one that is in love, which is one that is fun and honest and supportive, right? Whatever that thing is, we want that to be your experience, right? Even if it's just going through the drive-through, you want to experience that in an authentic way. Don't tell me I can get ice cream and then I get up to the counter and you tell me your ice cream is broken. I'm being silly with the example, but also true. Like, right? You want people to be kind to you going through the drive-through. You want them to be upfront. The price is $10.99. Not $11.99 because you got an extra sauce, but we ain't tell you that. You want those experiences. And so because a lot of people don't often prioritize that or think from that frame of view when they are doing things, you just do shit by yourself. Because I know how I'm gonna roll. I know I'm gonna be in this pocket over here, and I don't want to allow you to kind of come in and push me out the pocket, and now I got to make accommodations for your funky attitude and keep reassuring or keep hearing your complaints. So I'm gonna just be alone, right? That's what we tell ourselves. And for the most part, and a lot of times that works. But also I think, again, if you're like me, you really do though crave community. You really are passionate about experiencing life with other people, and you really do want to find others who are that way too, right? And it takes putting yourself out there. It takes joining a book club online that may or may not exist and saying to the peoples, hey, I have this thing. I want you to be a part of it. Would anybody be down? And then saying to those people that were like, yeah, I'm down. Okay, I'm going to hit you up. And then actually hit the peoples up. Okay. You actually got to do the follow through, right? And you say, well, what if we created this thing where more of us could do this? What do you think about that? Right. And to my surprise, she was like, hell yeah. And now we've invited other people. And again, now we've created this community that is currently small again because it's just the four of us. It started a little bigger, but that's also the point. We had these conversations where we allowed let the other people, I think there were maybe 8 of us to start with or something like that, to honestly say, you know what, I have the capacity for this or I don't. And it be okay. There's still love, right? Because I think also a lot of times we can get these ideas where we start to build these communities and we bring these people along, and day 1 they're excited, day 2 they're excited, day 10 they're over the moon, and then day 11 they done quit, and now you take it personal. And it's kind of like, well, no, yeah, they contributed and they were excited, but it's okay that once they kind of got into it, they realized maybe they don't have the capacity for it. And wouldn't you so much rather allow a space where they can be honest about that, as opposed to 7 months in and you wondering why they're not showing up and why they dropping the ball and why you keep having to check up on them? Well, you didn't allow them to remove themselves. You didn't allow them to be honest about what they could and could not give, and therefore you put them in a type of community that they were never meant to be a part of. Maybe they're just going to be able to comment on the things that you do. Maybe they're just going to be able to like the things that you do. Maybe they're just going to be able to just watch the things that you do, right? But that doesn't make them any less valuable or any less part of the whole project. We So keep that in mind as well when you are building out these communities. Make space and be honest with the people, what capacity, what level of expectation you have for them. Hey, if you're going to join this thing, I need you to make sure you can show up every Monday at 6 o'clock, or we every other Monday at 6 o'clock. If you can't do that, it's okay. But I just need you to tell us so that we can then make moves, make plans, make adjustments that are responsible with the people, time, place, space, resources that we do have, right? So I just want to, put that out there because again, I know there are people out there like me who may be scared or feel like community has to look one way, but I just encourage you to speak to what you want, what you are looking for, what you maybe notice is not there, and ask for it. Create it. See who else is down. This world is full of 7 million people. You gonna find somebody that's on your side of the TikToks, okay? On your sides of the internet. She said, I'm preaching good, sis. Talk to them, okay? It says, allow people to honor their ability, capacity, and real life. It is hardly ever about you. One of the best books I've read is The Four Agreements. And one of those, it's basically about relationships and how to deal with people. And one of the most profound agreement is take nothing personally. Take nothing personally. When you get out into real life, I was such a person who took things I still take things personally, but I think I'm better. I know I'm much better than I was, where you really think that, and I'm gonna tell y'all a story later, where you really think the things people say have a personal intent, attack, directive on you, and really they are speaking from their perspective. It's impossible for them to really get in your head, and not impossible, but it's rare that people are really in your head and know your MO enough that this thing they said to trigger you was so specific that they knew it was going to trigger you. 9 times out of 10, it triggered you because y'all probably have some similar experiences. And maybe they said that joke because they coping with the same shit you just got triggered by. Right? It's probably not about you, honey. It's probably just, hey, this is what they have going on. And meet them with grace, meet them with love, meet them with open arms to say, hey, that's cool. That's cool. I get it. I'm here for you, or whatever it might be. But just allow people to be honest. People are living Kimberly Jackson in the comments says that people are living in their own worlds and they don't be having nothing to do with you. Folks just know how to manage their own emotions. So keep that in mind when building these communities, especially with new people. I think we can discard relationships, I can discard relationships so quickly at the first sight of discomfort or disagreement, and that's not always a bad thing. Sometimes red flags are red flags, right? But sometimes there that grit, that resistance, that friction is an opportunity to grow something maybe in you. And maybe that doesn't necessarily mean you have to continue the relationship, but maybe they rubbing that nerve because maybe I need to, fix up on that, or look into that. So be graceful, be loving, be kind, be curious, and be open when trying to build out these communities. Okay. So the next thing I want to get into is just a little brand bestie talk. I think I talked about my school planner before that I created with my client. I done grabbed the wrong book. Pause for the cause. Okay, so I think I talked a little bit about this, but I'm gonna show y'all for I think I actually just showed my life. So I have been working with a client. I'm just really proud of this project. I think that's why I'm like talking about it so much, because it really is an example of what I do with my clients. So she came to me. The very first thing we worked on was her logo. Okay, she came to me. She's an educator, been an educator for over 25 years, and has these amazing ideas of how to help and coach parents along the education process with their child, right? Helping to inform them, equip them with knowledge, resource, language, to be able to have a confident and secure conversation with their child's education team, right? And it's similar to what I do with brands in that my goal is to help business owners have confidence, language, resources to promote, to tell the audience about, and to increase profitability of their brands and of their companies. And so she didn't know what she wanted for her logo. She was like, I like green. um it's education, something maybe abstract. And so that is a very broad spectrum to work with. And she showed me some things and I showed her some things, and we bounced back and forth and collaborated, and ultimately we came up with something, which is this this little symbol here. Okay. So, I love it. She's like, oh, it looks kind of like an apple, and you got the two people on there. So I say all that to say the process of starting from a blank paper to now getting a logo, it's rewarding and it's fulfilling. To have those conversations with people, and that's a lot of like what my process is like. It's very collaborative. I think a lot of times people can be intimidated with working with marketing teams or strategists because they feel like they need to come to the table with so much. And I think there's some things you need to come with, but I think my job is to ask the questions, ask really good questions, so I can pull it out your brain, right? You are not the marketing professional. You are not the branding strategist. So you wouldn't know what to consider and to ask yourself. And so that's my job, right? That's how we get to the logo. Okay. Now from the logo, she tells me then this idea she has of making a planner for parents, a one-stop shop where parents can go to not only look at dates, keep records, but there's also so many other resources in here. So there are, first of all, 6 blog post style articles where she basically, and this is our rough draft, so there's notes, you'll see it, but she's basically telling you what to expect in the school year. Let me get my teacher on. What to expect in the school year at certain times of the year. So April's check-in, it's the final stretch, and these are the thing that matters. Why April matters: assessment preparation, and signs your child might need extra support. There's one in February. So now it's like, how do we recognize progress and set some goals? It tells you to do a mid-year review, which is included in here. Okay, so you can literally come in the back. You have a mid-year review to say, are we meeting these goals? What goals do we need to adjust? And it's really designed so that as a parent, you have what you need to be engaged, right, with your child's um educational journey. And not only that, okay, there's actual tips, things you can do. And I don't know, I guess I'm just impressed. I don't have any kids, so I'm very ignorant to the school system and the process, right? I did school and I got out of school. Okay. I didn't work in no school. I don't know nothing about no school. And I'm okay with that for now. But I realize it is a blind spot and it's not okay to be ignorant forever. Right. And we do need to be responsible with our children's education and not assuming that the teacher is going to do all the heavy lifting. And so she gives us also in here 12 practical tips, things that you can actually do throughout the school year, um such as, and it's some of them are fun, some of them are directly geared towards education. This one is the photo comparison. Take a photo of your child doing homework or reading now and compare it from the beginning of the school year. Share this comparison with their child to help them see their own growth. Photo progress is undeniable. This sparks a conversation around puberty, around body, around image, around, all the different things that a child, elementary school child, might be going through, right? These are maybe they've become more developed as a child, and now the kids at school are pointing it out, but you are also going to have a conversation with them about it. So it's just so much good stuff. And then the last thing that I'll say about this is that there are 52 questions in here. Once I'm showing, hopefully y'all can see, probably not, but buy the planner and you can see it for yourself. But anyway, there are 52 questions in here, one every single week, that is not just how was school, but it's a conversation starter. So how do you want to stay in touch with friends over the summer, right? It's something to spark a conversation. Well, I want to text, or I want to go, my buddy so and so lives down the street. Well, who was their parent? It dialogue. It says, what new interest did you discover at school? I'm into math now. Last year you hated math. Well, I love it because my teacher made it fun, or whatever, right? Because kids, you ask them how school, it was cool. Did you learn something today? Sure. What's the biggest thing you've learned about yourself this year? Introspective questions, starting them early. Okay. So I think it's just such an amazing resource, and I'm really proud of this project, and so that's why I'm really talking about it. And so not only did I design the logo, but I designed the entire book. I designed the look, the front cover, the back cover, the inside pages, and I helped her to get it into production. So you can get this on Amazon. I'll be sure to put the links in, the show in the chat. But it's very cool to just take something from a blank sheet of paper, and now we have this amazing product that will live on forever and years to come. I am a designer. And it's so cute. I think it looks so good. I think I did my big one with this, and I'll be honest with myself. If it was ugly, I would tell you. So I'll have Jada put some pictures on the screen so you guys can see the inside. But I just wanted to give you that to share with you just a little bit of what we do down to the Brand Bestie. Okay, that's just one of the things. We again, ideation to creation. That's our process. You got an idea, let's create it. So, sis, can we talk about your brand for a second? Because here is the truth. Your brand is more than just a logo or some cute colors. It's your voice, it's your strategy, your confidence, and honestly, it is the key to whether people hear you, see you, and actually pay you. And that's exactly why I created Brand Bestie. It's my one-on-one consulting services where we take the guesswork out of building your brand. Think of me as your best friend who is not afraid to tell you when your brand is getting messy, but also knows exactly how to help you fix it. Okay, so inside our sessions, we get clear on your mission, your audience, your message, and how to actually show up consistently so people not only recognize you but trust you. Because when your brand feels right, you show up differently. You walk into rooms with more confidence and you attract clients and opportunities you've been dreaming about. So, if you have been stuck, overwhelmed, or tired of DIYing your brand, let me help you get clear. Okay, head over to tinyurl.com/the brand bestie and book your clarity call today. Sis, don't wait. The world needs what only you can bring. And let's make sure your brand tells that story the right way. Okay. Okay. Let's get to these comments. Okay, it says pop your ish, brand bestie. And I will, and I will. That is a gift, that being able to make something out of nothing. You did that. Thank you, girl. I tried. Learning how to have intentional conversations with children is integral to healthy development and self-esteem. I couldn't say that any louder. Now listen, y'all. Okay, we done with the updates, but let me tell you a little bit of my business. Okay, so the past few episodes I've been sharing with y'all. Thank you, KJ, putting it in the chat. Thank you, thank you. Um, as you know, these past few weeks I have been sharing with y'all just my journey on the 10 commandments that I created for myself, and just explaining to you guys a little bit better, and myself even helping me process in real time what they mean, what they look like, how they show up in my life, real life examples of them, and how I walk it out. And so this week, I want to talk about my commandment to. It says, "I will honor my emotions and communicate what I need." And so it's very, very, very layered, a situation like this, right? And it's important for me because if you don't know, I am an extremely emotional person. I'm team emo all day. And I am getting into a season where I can rep that proudly. Um, Growing up, it was not something that was celebrated necessarily. It was always called out. It was always affronted and um propped up as the my Achilles heel. You're so emotional and irrational because you thinking with emotions, and in instances where that may be true, what a life it would have been, to have a space where I could explore how to have emotions and then process and then respond responsibly, rationally, excuse me. um it would have been nice, right? But we cannot go back, we cannot go in the past, so we have to create these environments for ourselves. And so first things first is accepting right, that this is who I am. This is me. Your girl's got emotions. I am an empath through and through. I will catch myself watching TikToks, and next thing I know, I'll either have the biggest smile on my face, and I because I'm watching a bunch of funny stuff, and or even TV. Like, I was just watching a movie. That's probably even a better. I was watching a movie, and the girl's boyfriend came home. She ran to hug him, and I just found myself smiling instinctually, like, just because I'm literally receiving that energy that is on the TV, right? I physically enact it, right? It's one thing to watch something and say, yes, they are happy. It's another thing to watch it and become happy. Get where I'm going? Or it's another thing to watch and a tear will genuinely well up in your eyes because of what's happening on your screen or in front of you or whatever. And even in especially in close relationship with people, their anxiety can become your anxiety, their frustration can become your frustration, their ambition can become your ambition, their love can become your love. And in some instances it's good, and some instances it does not serve you. right? And I am learning to honor, hey, I am feeling your anxiety right now, but it ain't my anxiety. And I need to let it go, right? Because you can fight it and be like, nah, I ain't anxious. I ain't got no attitude. I'm not doing nothing different. I'm cool. I'm this, I'm that. But really, you acting out of pocket right now because you've absorbed somebody else's energy. You've absorbed somebody else's emotions, being the empath that you are, right? So I have to honor that that is me. That will happen. That's my natural inclinations, right? And that's okay because in times that can serve me. When I'm trying to communicate things or get my way or get a way, it's good to be in tune and be able to read the room and know where to insert a joke and know where to get serious and feel there's something you're not saying and create a space for you to say it, right? That is my superpower. It works well. But I heard a phrase at the top of the year, if it ain't my mess, I ain't gonna stress. Because I will stress about your mess. And that's not gonna help me. I got my own things I need to figure out. Right. I just discovered there's an entire hallway in my brain I haven't even been down. So I got my own shit to deal with. Okay. So I really have to honor. I take on things sometimes for the good, sometimes for the bad. And then the communicate what I need is the process in which I sift through that and decide what I'm going to hold on to and release what I am not, right? And release what is not for me. And I remember when I was younger, because and it's so these things are revelatory because being emotional has always had a negative connotation to it. When somebody describes you as an emotional person, it's typically not a compliment, right? It's not always a dig, but it's kind of one of those things to like watch out for. She's emotional. Yeah, yeah. It's not usually in a reverence, or in an honor or in a celebration to the fact that I can fucking feel things. Okay. So let's start there. So I remember, and it's been this way because I remember I was younger playing goldfish, and before the goldfish game, my mom had made a rule I was not allowed to watch That's So Raven because she was psychic. Psychics were demonic. Okay. This when we was going to church. Okay. And so I wasn't allowed to watch That's So Raven. That's the context I have for psychic, right? And this goes to the whole not taking things personally. This goes to the whole um what energy am I going to keep and not keep? We're playing goldfish. I'm like 5 or 6, y'all. Okay. I'm whipping ass in goldfish. I'm getting it. You got a 6? Yep. You got a 7? Yep. You got an 8? Yep. So eventually they like, dang, you must be psychic or something. When I tell you I took that thing so seriously, it hurt my feelings so bad, right? Oh my God, you're so emotional. You're so emotional. Oh my God, I can't believe you're so sensitive. I can't say anything. You're so sensitive. And it's silly. It's a silly thing to like think about now about how, sensitive I was. But in hindsight, I realized that even as a kid, I took the way people saw me and being a good person very seriously, right? I did not want any association with what I believed or was taught at the time was something demonic. I wanted to be a good person. I wanted people to love me, like me, accept me. Yet I had this way about me that caused everything almost that people said about me to hurt my feelings. because I presumed that when you are saying this thing, you mean it in a negative way. I presume that when you are feeling this way, it's a reflection of who I am. And at 5 and 6, you don't really know exactly who you are, right? You listen to what your parents say, but I say as a big girl now, right? Uh 5 and 6 times 5 and 6 or whatever. That's not the right math, but you know what I'm saying. I'm 30, okay? And as a 30-year-old woman, I still take being a good person very seriously, right? But now I realize that it is not um predicated on whether or not you think I am a good person. It is not predicated on your perception of who I am. It is honoring all parts of me. It is honoring, hey, that thing you said did hurt my feelings, but I can learn to feel what I felt and realize maybe I don't actually have to take it personally. Maybe I don't actually have to take on that energy. Maybe I can just leave it right there, and I can move through it. Because when you take it personally and you hold on to the thing, right, or you're hurt by something somebody says, it's not to say that that hurt isn't genuine or that feeling isn't valid, but it is to say you don't have to carry it. You can feel it, you can be pissed, you can be hurt, but you can also recognize, like, okay, that's cool, and make it not, it's not about me. I'm not a bad person because this thing hurt me. You probably just shouldn't have said that shit to me. That wasn't actually nice, right? That wasn't actually kind. I'm not weird because things hurt my feelings. I'm not weird because I expect you to talk to me in positives, in affirming language, in ways that uplift me, even in criticism. That doesn't make me weak or less valuable or in the way, right? Because you have to kind of slow down now and evaluate your intentionality when engaging with me. It's too much for you. And that's fine. I know that now. Whereas before, I felt too much. I felt like a burden. I felt heavy. And I felt like, who's going to do the work to do the things? And that's not for me to figure out. God designed me this way, which means he designed a community for me per his way of living, and so I am grateful for this life coaching program that I'm doing, Discover Your Destiny with Kimberly Jackson, where I get to have these conversations. She asks, like I tell her all the time, I've never thought about this stuff. And I like this forum because I told her, I'm like, I don't know that therapy is appropriate for me right now because I feel like it will be very feeling based. It will be very much, how do you feel about that? What was your feelings on this? What was your feelings on that? And there's a space in place for that. But I feel like because that's my favorite phrase, I feel, right? Because I'm always in my feelings, I need a place, a forum of action, right? I need a place, a forum that's going to ask me now, with these feelings and things, realizing the place it has in my life and in my design and in who I am, right? It takes me from a introspective silo, right, to a I don't know, it's like your field view kind of opens up now, and now you see all these possibilities because I got all these players. I got all this strategy. I've got all these resources, right? And I tell her every time after she done blew my mind, asked me a question I didn't know, like, okay, now what do I do with all these things? And I'm not done with the process. So, keep doing it, right? To learn now, okay, well, you're the best player for this. You the best player for that. You the best tool for that. Wear these shoulder pads for this. And it's a process, and really you're learning this is exactly who God has called me to be. Exactly. It's exactly who he wanted me to be. And anyone who can't deal with my muchness just was not called to be a part of my journey. And that's okay. It really is okay. And anybody who is will be there, and will be there in a way that feels very organic, in a way that feels very ordained, in a way that doesn't make me have to shrink or play small or play dumb, um, and holds me accountable, and not because I'm being called out, but because I see other people in this community doing the work, doing the things, asking the questions, challenging themselves, the people around them. And I cannot be in community with these people and not do the same thing. I promise you that. Either they're gonna kick me out, or it's gonna come to light, hey sis, you not doing no work on yourself. We work on ourselves over here. Right? That's the kind of place I want to be a part of. So it's it's not going to always look how you thought. Like I started the top of the show with talking about building community. It won't always look like you thought, but it's going to be so revelatory, this journey that you go on, where you learn about yourself, where you ask yourself some questions, and you put in some guardrails, some boundaries to fortify you and who you are, you know. Let's read some of these comments because I've been yapping a little bit. She says, I am my girl KJ. I relate to that so much. Our gifts were often demonized and suppressed when we were children. We get to take back our power. Wait, we get to take our power back by reconnecting back to who we have always been at the core. Yeah, it's getting back to who you've been. And it's such a cliche, but cliches are cliches for a reason, right? Because this truth seems to um reverberate amongst the masses. That's how it becomes a cliche, right? It's because, well, it was true for me, and it was true for her, and it was true for them, and it was true for them. So that's how cliches become that. And so get back to that inner child, see what that girl in there talking about. Okay, so with that being said, just a couple little updates, y'all. If you are following us on Facebook, or if you've joined our Patreon, even at the free tier, every Tuesday I'm putting out journal prompts. These are just some things to jog your heart space, your mind space, see where they are aligned, in it, and some things to call you into being who you continue to say you want to be. A couple of them that I have posted are, the woman you say you want to be, what is she thinking about right now? uh Journaling about that, right? Getting into that mind space. What are you no longer available for? Some of those boundaries that you've actually put into place. What are some dreams that you buried that need to be resurrected? A lot of times we bury things and put things aside because of circumstances in life, and that's what we need to do to survive. But sometimes we get to resurrect those things, or we get to reframe, rethink, rework them, but we have to give ourselves the space and grace to even think about what those things were. So if you're a journal prompt or a mind prompt girly, follow us on Facebook and at Let's Talk Sis, and you can get all of that weekly. You'll also be alerted of our Friday lives. We are live on Friday at 2 o'clock, excuse me. We have about a half hour dance party just to get the vibes going, get the set up. I might practice some things with the people, might go over some things with the people, let them know what's coming. That's our sisterhood over there, as I talked about at the top of the show, where we can just find people who are going to love on us, going to share in our joy and support us. Come catch a vibe, be a part of the conversation, before we record. And that's all I got, y'all. I ain't got no more. So I hope this episode was helpful. I hope it was inspiring or rang true for somebody. And if it wasn't, I don't know if you was really listening. So just wind it back one more time and then let me know for sure. Please leave a comment. Let me know what part resonated with you the most. And if you have not already liked the episode, follow the pages and please subscribe to the YouTube. Okay, we're growing our YouTube. We're growing over here, just again, building community, finding more people that are like us and want to be with us. So I thank y'all for hanging out with me. I will see y'all next week. Talk to you later. Bye bye.